As I start coloring this page, I'm drawn to the man sitting alone outside the cafe. He's just there, quiet, still, maybe sipping his coffee, maybe just watching the world pass by. There's something peaceful about him. Years ago, I would have looked at someone like this and assumed something was wrong, that maybe he was sad or had no one to sit with. But now I look at things a little differently. I see a man who's comfortable enough to sit with himself, who isn't afraid of his own company. And maybe that's where this story begins. There was a time in my life when I felt deeply out of place, especially at work. Everyone around me seemed to have their own little circle, inside jokes, and group lunches. They whispered conversations while waiting for meetings to start. And I was there, always the one left behind. I'd sit there looking at my phone, or even eat lunch alone and pretend it didn't sting a little. I could hear my coworkers making plans after work, and I would try to ignore those too with the quiet ache of not being invited. And for a long time, I thought that meant something was wrong with me, that maybe I was broken, too quiet, too awkward, not fun enough, just not enough. But the truth is, sometimes we just don't click with people, and that's okay. We're not meant to fit in every group or every conversation, and that doesn't make us less worthy. Over time, I stopped trying to force myself into those places that didn't seem so natural. I started protecting my energy, focusing on being at peace with myself, instead of always trying to win the approval of others. And that was hard. It's really hard. It was necessary, but still hard. As I look at the woman in this picture, sitting alone at the table, with only her dog as her company, this makes me smile a little, because I love my dog. There's something beautiful about her too. She's not sad, she's content. Maybe this is her quiet afternoon ritual. Maybe she's taking a break from the chaos of the day, or just sharing a silent moment with the one companion who never asked for more than her presence. There's a softness to her aloneness. It doesn't scream loneliness, it whispers peace. And I think back to when I stopped trying to fight the solitude, when I started going on walks during my lunch, or just finding a quiet spot to spend a few moments alone. I learned how to be okay with my own company. I found small joys in the little routines, my favorite drink, freedom to move through the day without having to keep up appearances. It wasn't about giving up a connection. It was about giving myself the space to reconnect with myself first. And then in this picture, there's that empty table inside the cafe. It's waiting, and it's open, ready for someone to just sit at it. But I love that it's part of this picture. It's not sad. It's not desperate. It just is. An empty space with potential. It reminds me that not every seat in life has to be filled all the time. Some spaces are meant to stay open for the right people, the right moment, and the right energy. Sometimes you don't have the friends you wish you had, especially at work. You move through your days quietly, doing your job well, but never really have that sense of community. And it can feel isolating. It doesn't mean you're failing, But you're also not there at that job to make friends. You're there to do a job and make a paycheck. But we live in a world that constantly tells us we need to be surrounded, like included. Social media doesn't help. It makes it feel like everyone else is always with someone and always a part of something. But here's the truth. Solitude is not a flaw. It's not something to be ashamed of. And it doesn't make your life any less full. In fact, most of the grounded, self-aware, compassionate people I've ever met have spent seasons of their lives alone. Seasons where they've had no close friends and where they were overlooked. Seasons where the table stayed empty. And in that time, they learned how to listen to themselves. They discovered what made them laugh, what gave them peace, and what dreams they held close. I think about how this page tells a quiet story, but in a way, it's a big story. It's not a story of sadness, it's a story of being okay and finding calm in the quiet, of letting go of the pressure to always belong. Sometimes not having friends, especially at work, can be a blessing in disguise. I think friendships are harder to maintain as you get older, or even start new ones. I think I'm in that season of my life right now where I really don't have any close friends. I have a husband and a family, but really no close friends, and I'm okay with that because I don't really need them. At work, they were a source of drama, stress, and anxiety, and I just don't want that anymore. So what season in life are you in with friends? Do you have a bunch, or are you in the same season I am, happy with what you have?